can't all be winners. Hi, I'm Hossman17. This is my Pop Culture Backlog. Howdy folks, welcome to Pop Culture Backlog. I'm Hossman17 and this is TPBTBT, or Trade Paperback Throwback Thursday. Today we're going over Captain America the Winter Soldier, Volume 2. So issue 8 really has nothing going for it, but some beautiful art. Steve Epting does an amazing job. But the story is basically Nick Fury going over the history they have on the Winter Soldier, and Captain America is just refusing to believe that it's actually Bucky. It's just that, honestly, interspersed with some stuff from the bombing the night before. Cap is in the aftermath looking for survivors, but comes across some AIM scientists who are there for an action scene. They're there to gather some intel and clean up the evidence from the bomb, because it was their design, but they didn't actually set it off. It's really just some action shoehorned into an otherwise actionless book, but it does give us these cool-looking new MODOKs. Look at them. They're cool. The only takeaway from this issue, really, is that Fury is mounting a mission to go get Lucan. I'm in.
I know.
The issue itself is bookended with some flashback scenes of Karpov. He's out looking for Captain America's body in the Atlantic after he went down, but he finds Bucky. And all this really does is shows us that it is in fact Bucky as the readers, despite Cap's refusal. But really, at the time, everybody reading knew it was Bucky. Nobody had any doubts. Okay, the next issue is just a mess, honestly. It's once again bookended by a much more interesting story. I'll get to that in a bit. But the core story starts with everybody on a chopper in Mongolia, and they're heading to their mission. Steve and Sharon have some tension between them. We don't know why. But then we cut to one day earlier, and then we see Steve is talking to Sharon, and Sharon's like, "Yo, Steve, you tried to take me off this mission." And Steve's like, "Yeah, I talked to Nick Fury about taking you off the mission." And then they go back to the chopper, where Sharon is clearly on the mission, for one page. And then we cut to 2 days earlier, where we see Steve talking to Nick Fury about taking Sharon off of the mission. Like, what? Why do we need all this? I'm sure Brubaker was going for some Tarantino-esque storytelling, but in the end, it came off to me like that backwards episode of Seinfeld. Anyway, they get there to arrest Lucan, they fight off some guards, and they bust in the door to immediately be shut down by somebody from the White House or the UN or something, I can't remember. Basically, we learn that Lucan is untouchable. But the bookends of the issue show Crossbones breaking this girl out of a re-education facility. Spoiler alert, that turns out to be the Red Skull's daughter. That's a much more interesting storyline that really isn't touched upon in this book. But we'll get to it. Issue 10 was a House of M tie-in and wasn't included in this collection, but issue 11 is here, and it's actually pretty good. The whole thing starts when Lucan accidentally uses the Cosmic Cube to send Captain America the Russians file on the Winter Soldier. Lucan is kind of starting to lose his mind a little bit, but the file itself makes up most of the issue. It's Karpov's notes on how he made and trained the Winter Soldier, and some of the missions he was sent on, stuff like that. It's actually really good, and it's an interesting read, and at the end of that issue, Steve is sad, because he's finally starting to believe that Bucky might be the Winter Soldier. But then the next issue is back to standard for this collection. Lucan uses the cube to force a bunch of companies to sign over and become part of his Cronus Corporation. Steve is starting to accept that the Winter Soldier probably is Bucky, but everyone else around him, like Fury and Sharon, think they just need to kill him. Lucan picks up a table and smashes it over his assistant, because I told you he's kind of starting to lose it. And the whole thing is interspersed with some flashbacks of Steve meeting Bucky back at the start of the war, and it's good. It's heartwarming, I guess. I don't know, some character building showing how they met. And then in the end, the Falcon shows up and says, "Hey." In issue 13, Captain America and the Falcon team up with Iron Man, and they bust up an aid base. That's Advanced Ideas in Destruction. It's an offshoot from AIM. There's some actually really good action here. The art, again, is on point. It's really good. That's about it. They find what they're looking for, and Cap and Falcon go off to find Bucky. Like, the whole thing kind of just... Oh. It's 90% filler. I get it. Alright, issue 14, the final issue. This is where it all comes together. We trudge through all that filler for this. Everything comes to a head in here. This final issue pays off. I mean, look at that. The cover is the one that shares the cover with the whole trade paperback. It's kind of a bad cover, isn't it? Oh, damn it. Yeah, so Cap and the Falcon track down Bucky. They beat up some thugs. It's just more filler and more fluff. Captain America and the Winter Soldier's fight is the main event here, and it's fine. It's nothing amazing. Captain America keeps saying, "Bucky, remember who you are," and Bucky doesn't, like not even a little bit. It ends with Steve basically giving up, and he says, "Go ahead, shoot me. If you truly don't know me, then just do it." And Bucky does. He shoots him, but Captain America dodges the bullet because, if I recall, he can see faster. And he hits the Winter Soldier in the back of his head with his shield, causing him to drop the Cosmic Cube. And then Cap picks up the cube and says, remember who you are. And that's it. There's no personal breakthrough. There's no old memories rising up to grand revolution. There's nothing. Captain America uses the cosmic cube to magic his friend's memories back. Like, that is not the grand payoff I was hoping for. Technically, this is where Falcon and the Winter Soldier meet. But then, yeah, Bucky picks up the cube and smashes it in his hand and just disappears. And, like, honestly, I'm not sure I want to keep reading this series right now because this one was such a letdown in the story. Like, I feel like everything here could have been easily condensed down to 2 or 3 issues without losing anything. And this is just an example of drag-out storytelling. Oh, and also the Red Skull is living inside Lucan's head. Like, there's a lot going on here. A lot of seeds are planted for later. But all in all, there was a lot of filler and fluff with great art. And that's not always enough. I've been Hossman17. This has been Pop Culture Backlog. If you enjoyed this at all, feel free to like on the video, comment down below, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff. You can find me on Twitter and TikTok and who knows what. The links are down below. Twitch is where I spend a lot of my time. You can meet up with me on Twitch and, otherwise, I'll catch up with you later. But just remember, we can't always afford to buy new comics, so sometimes it pays to reread the old ones. But as today proved, sometimes it doesn't pay to reread the old ones. Anyway, I've got other Captain America videos. I've got some Invincible videos. There's links somewhere around here to click on if you want to. Anyway, I've been Hossman17 again, and you have a great week.